women right. Y'all right, man. These men have become the new bad bitches. And it's a very unfortunate because it's not the majority of men, but because this loud minority is in bed with the owning majority of the entertainment industry, that loud minority voice gets projected way further than the average man. And like it's kind of upsetting to see because me being a man, this is bad representation, and me raising sons is bad representation. So it's like, what world am um what world am I raising my son for? A world of tea sipping, gossipy men that can't wait to run to the blogs and hey, kiki, ha ha. Like, the men, I'm gonna use that word loosely. These Negroes is worse than the women, man. And it always been that group of men that's like so Joe off of the celebrities and so Joe off of, the popular nigga who they want to be in the VIP section, and you know what I'm saying? Like, this always been a thing, right? Like like Hov said, you're making me uncomfortable, dude. Go that away. And quit the ice grill home, cause I keep enough heat to melt that away. But what was the other joint he said? He was saying, I came to the club to get. He said, remember me, dog? I don't know you. I forget the lyrics. I stopped listening to music for so long that I don't even remember them no more. Alhamdulillah. But it's sad that the men are jockeying other men, basically. And you hear all of this. When you hear all this, like when the man talk, like in this video that just released with 50, and you hear one of these DJs all laughing at everything 50 saying, and it's not even funny. Like, we really talking about the humiliation of a person who was being abused and assaulted, and y'all laughing at this girl pain. Like, yeah, you're not laughing directly at her situation, but this is somebody's life. This is somebody's life. It's just gossip to y'all, but it's real world consequences for the people involved, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that men really are only seem like they only dealing with women as like, women have become the byproduct of men relationship with other men, because it becomes the thing to talk to, the thing to get status off, the thing to connect with other men. Like, if these new dudes couldn't get cool points from other men, they probably wouldn't even deal with women. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to call them gay or nothing like that. I don't know what their preference is. But at this point, I feel like the women are just a byproduct of the relationship that men want with other men. And that's a really unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Um, and we see this all the time. They want to be around the bros 24/7. And when you really think about it, it's like, and this is not an original thought, but like, dudes would be more loyal to their barber, than they actual women, their wife, their girls. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, I only can sit in his chair, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you got this intimate relationship with your barber, but you would stick your meat in any chick that, you know what I'm saying? If Precious was available, you go in there. And I'm not talking about Gabby. I'm talking about the character. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, man. We living in a sad time. You know what I mean? And I think it's a lot of them got this way because of social media. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can look at their photos and how they got the arm out when they taking a picture with the arm out, and they taking bathroom selfies in the mirror, and you know what I'm saying. It's they gotta have everything looking perfectly. They fidgeting and all this, like they doing what the girls doing, and it's like we become so self-conscious, and we become so detached from what relationships really are, because we are living our lives in a false reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, we so concerned with what we put on social media, that the way that we show up in the actual world is being sacrificed. You know what I'm saying? It's, and it's and it's something needs to be done about it. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth of the matter is, if we do ever have to go to war, uh, we gonna be in bad shape, because the men that are war age are cowards. You know what I'm saying? Cowards. You see this in the youth, where they get all of their strength from this weapon. And if you think about it, like, it's easy. It's easy to use. I don't know what I could say on this app, so I'm trying to choose my words. But if you can imagine, if we still lived in a time where we carry swords, and a battle meant an actual battle, being in peak physical performance, as opposed to just squeezing a trigger. It's so easy to do that people don't even consider the ramifications of it. And life has become so cheap because it's so easy to take. If you had to, actually raise a weapon and fight this person based on some skill, based on, endurance, stamina, strength, intelligence, like if you really had to use, and you had to be trained and ready at all times, then life will be valued more, because the actual taking of that life will require much more effort. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to feel powerful when you have a tool like a gun, because it's easy to use. A child can use it, and that's what we see. And we see in children who don't have a place in the world, and are looking for a place in the world, and finding that in the music and the lifestyles of the rappers, who are just entertainers, may come from that environment, but they are painting a picture that this child can see themselves in by pushing a button, and that button is a trigger. And it's very unfortunate. Like, it actually makes me like quite sad. And we already struggle with emotional intelligence as men, and now it's even worse. Emotional intelligence, because we detach from reality. So you can't be in touch with your emotions if you can't even bring yourself back to reality. You see what I'm saying? That's a long list of things that needs to be done in order to get us back to a situation where we can even focus on what needs to be done. And this is part of the strain that is on the relationship between black men and black women, because we kind of have accepted that women have adopted social media as their reality. They put their avatar, I'm gonna just say avatar, the person who they are online, they put that at the forefront of everything. So I remember when I first started getting into social media, and I would see people would make statements like, "Oh, I can't wear this again because I had it on when I was on social media," or they and you see it now, like people have become so programmed to say every time they get on the camera, they're like, "Oh, I know I look a mess," and they look how they always look. They don't look any different than the way that they would have looked had they prepared. You know what I'm saying? It's just a programming, basically. It's programmed to kind of highlight your flaws before anybody else can. You know what I'm saying? And this is a defense mechanism. So, women come over and say, "Oh, no, I look a mess." And then they are basically spitting regurgitating what they've learned online. Like right now, it's a big thing where people are uploading, content creators are telling their stories of divorce. Like women are literally leaving their husbands to be happy, and then finding out that this actually not bringing them joy. They're miserable, and they wish they wouldn't have left their husbands, but because they have put themselves in a situation where they looked at other people's lives, all of the highlights is just basically looking at highlight reels, right? So you don't see what's going on behind the scenes, and you think that if you do this drastic thing, that you'll be able to live the life that these other people are living. These people are, younger, less responsibility, probably don't have any children, and even if they do have children, they're probably not responsible. If they're not probably as responsible as you are if you're married and have a family. You see what I'm saying? You're trading in your married life for baby mama life because you think it's funner or you think it's whatever, right? And you don't have the people around you to give you the proper advice because they're going to tell you what you want to hear. We always have lived in a world where people tell women what they want to hear. This is one of the problems that I had with my ex. It was like she could never do no wrong because whenever she would go back to her circle, her mom, her cousins, they will always tell her that she basically, pacify her. She didn't do anything wrong. So regardless of the countless repossessions that, that's a whole nother story. I'm gonna put people business out there. But we gotta get back to holding each other accountable. You know what I'm saying? And part of being a Muslim is the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said Islam is a deen on nasiha, which is meaning our religion is based on sincere advice. And in order to give sincere advice, you have to be sincere, right? You have to have good intentions, and you have to be unbiased, right? You can't give this person intentions based off of your relationship with them, based off of where you want to see them be, based off what they said, what they told you they want. You have to give them information based on what's best for that person, regardless if that involves you or the thing that you already know that they want. And example of that would be like, if this your daughter and you know that she plans on being married, she wants to be married with children in the future, you don't give her advice on a situation based off of, oh, well, you want to be married, so just suck it up and he'll propose. Like, that's bad advice. Sincere advice would be to advise her what's the best option for that situation, regardless of the outcome. And we just don't do that no more. Men stop giving each other sincere advice because whenever you tell men what they don't want to hear, then you become a hater. Oh, that person just hating on me. And it's like, no, I'm just actually really being honest with you that, you're really not a good person and you need to get your life together. Or you immature, you need to stop chasing around chicks and take care of your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like that, this raw, I won't say raw, but this sincere advice, later on you'll find out that person was telling people that you hating on them. So for the fear of that, men stop giving each other the proper advice, and it's very unfortunate. We so quick to pull up our cameras and record something so that we could get some online clout, and it's like, where are the men that are still men that's not worried about that, that's going to break up a fight and stand against oppression? You know what I'm saying? Stop a man from beating up on a woman as opposed to just pulling out your camera and recording and scream a world star in the background. Like, that's childish. And these dudes just really make me sick, and they taking in all of this content: red pill, blue pill, black pill, green pill, MTGZ, all these different acronyms, and they don't have a original thought in their mind. And the thing about having original thoughts is you actually have to be off. You can't be online and think that your thoughts are original, because subconsciously you just processing the information that you got from videos previously. So until you get offline and maybe start journaling, or maybe, you know, start interacting with your family, will you then and start to, you know, cycle through some of that stuff that you already watched online. If you just sat online for 2 hours and you have a thought and you get off for an hour, that first, you probably still you probably still processing the 2 hours worth of content that you took in. So at an hour and 15 minutes, that's probably still not going to be an original thought. You still processing. So you need to really see, we need to really take breaks from being online. And I think men need to start journaling. That's just the only way you want to get these thoughts out and be able to process what you actually really think, what you actually really feel, what you actually really consider. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to what you took, what you learned from online, or what you heard online. You know what I mean? And that's why we so dangerous. That's why, like, a lot of times, like, people are not really bright. You see these videos online of people, you know, them going to college campuses and asking people some simple questions, and they just don't know. They just like, oh, I don't know. The Atlanta Clark students, there was like two females, and he just asked them like some basic questions, and they really didn't know, like, what's like what's 9 + 5 or something, you know, something basic stuff. And it's like, oh, it's 17. It's like, no, it's not 17. Um, yeah. So I think men need to hold women accountable, and women need to hold men accountable. And I think that was one of the things that made Kevin Samuels um, really popular, is because he had a way of making his content very entertaining, while also um, being honest with both men and women. Because a lot of times we only hear about the things that he said to women, but he was very vocal to men. He would tell them, get off of these apps, put in more hours, make more money, and then you can be that person. And we have a generation now where I think that, sometimes it could be bad advice, because every everybody is unique. We're all living dynamic lives, and the advice that's good for Tim might not be good for Tom, right? So men are taking just general advice and applying it to their lives, and it may not be the best advice for them. Money might not be the answer to your problem. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the law gives us the thing that's going to be best for us. For some people, if he was to test them with poverty, then they would lose their faith. As opposed to some people, if he was to test them with riches, it would be a test on their faith. You know what I mean? We see every day where people, start a business, or, come into some money or whatever. They turn these situations around from being broke to making a lot of money, and they lose their deen. Or we see it the other way around, where people are dead broke, and because of that, they walk away from the deen. So we have to be conscious of what's best for ourselves, and in order to figure that out, we gotta be present in reality, and really think about who we are, what we require from the world, what the world requires from us. You need to be productive citizens, and not just worry about making money. And I think that's one of the reasons the Bible say money is the root of all evil, because when you get focused on only making money because you think that's going to solve all of your problems, you're willing to do certain things that takes you away from your purpose, and take you away from your higher spiritual self. You know what I'm saying? So men really need to detach from these platforms. Stop worried about women. And you know what I'm saying? Because that's another thing. Like, we've created a situation where men could be complete, for lack of better words, I'm gonna say weirdo. But I don't typically use the word weirdo, because we're just all unique, right? But I think everybody will understand if I just use weirdo. A man could be a complete weirdo in the real world, and his online persona can be Rick Ross or that bull. He could be that bull online, but be a weirdo in life. And because immorality is a good way to become popular, they can trick women into getting with them before long enough. They can trick women long enough to get them in bed before the woman knows he's a weirdo, right? And it's crazy because we had went on vacation. Me and my family went on vacation, and my brother, I was talking to my brother, baby mom, and she was telling me she never saw his feet, which is, you never saw his feet, and I'm just thinking like, how could you have a child with somebody that you never saw their feet, right? And even just thinking back, like I remember being younger and being with women who were so insecure that they would not take their shirt off during sex. And it's like, if you are not secure enough to take off your shirt, you probably shouldn't be allowing this person to penetrate you. You know what I'm saying? And that's, I think, is the act. We're so removed from the act that we don't even consider these things. Like, it never even crossed. And this is several people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, several, I mean, stuff for the law. I shouldn't be telling my sins. I'm not telling my sins. I'm not broadcasting my sins. I'm trying to just use an example, right? And I mean, one of the people that I don't think about was like beautiful, very popular, very talented, but yeah, ashamed, too shy to be, and she come from a traditional family. I think she was Nigerian, come from a traditional family. Wear very provocative clothing, rapped very provocative lyrics, but deep down, that just wasn't who she was. You know what I'm saying? And we have become so good at being our representatives, at putting forth our representatives, that we're losing ourselves, or we're never finding ourselves. And that's the biggest tragedy, is that we spend so much time trying to be something else and somebody else that we lose ourselves in the process. And it's not until you are forced to detach from social media that you have to be present in those thoughts. And a lot of people don't make it out of that. A lot of people go downhill from that moment. So, we should try to start taking breaks from social media before we're forced to, you know what I mean? Because anything could do, it could be an accident, it could be, a financial situation. It could be a lot of reasons could be a lot of things that can take these phones away from you. And it's very unfortunate.